What's going on, world? It's me, Andre Cat, not here from West Palm Beach, Florida. So, in this video, I just want to take you through my markups when it comes to Forex. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, so basically, let's look at odd NZD. I'm gonna actually break everything down step by step on how I mark up my charts right now. So, usually when I come to a chart or come to a pair, I look at the weekly and I want to see what type of trend we're in. Are we in an uptrend? Are we in a downtrend? Like, what are we doing? Okay, and that's how I start off, and then I break it down to the daily, and then what I do on the daily, I mark out my previous weekly high and low. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna clear this chart off just to start all over here, and I'm on the daily chart at the time, right now, and I'm basically just looking for my previous weekly high and low. Okay, so my previous weekly low is down here, and I usually draw the rectangle tool from the wick to the body here. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can see. Right, so this is going to be my previous weekly low. Okay, and I have a template for that when it comes to the weekly zones here. So this is my weekly low, previous weekly low. Okay, now I'm just looking for my previous weekly high. So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So Monday was the high. Okay, as you can see, this is the Monday candle. All right, Monday candle right here. So I take out my rectangle tool and I draw from the wick to the body. That's going to be my previous weekly high. All right, so that's how I draw my previous weekly highs and low. Okay, these points are very, very important because price can reject these zones. Okay, or break these zones and do a retest. Okay, so so after I do that, I break it down to the 1 hour chart to draw my previous weekly, not previous weekly, but my previous U.S. session high and low, or my previous London session high and low, or my previous Asian session high and low. And it really depends. It really depends on what pair you're trading. If I'm trading anything that's dealing with U.S., then I want to draw my previous U.S. session highs and low. If I'm dealing with like the pound pairs, I want to draw my previous London session highs and low. And then, if it's Asian session, like Canadian JPY or something like that, then I want to look for my previous Asian session high and low. But in most cases, some of these zones will have the previous U.S. session high, the previous London session high, all together. Okay, so you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm on the 1 hour. Let's go ahead and do. So if I'm trading odd NZD, you could draw. Let's see. I'll probably draw my previous U.S. session high and low. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. So I can see right now. And then you might be wondering, how can I tell what session I'm in? Well, I got these candles color coded. All right, as you can see, there's red, green, and yellow. All right, the red stands for U.S. session, the green stands for London session, and the yellow stands for the Asian session. Okay. And then also you can tell by the time. Usually I consider U.S. session start from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, so that's what I consider the U.S. session. Now the London session, I consider that from 3 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, that's what I consider that. And then the Asian session 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw our zones here. So I can see right now, this is right here is our previous U.S. session high. Okay, all right, that's my previous. I have a template for that. That's gonna be my. It says you might see New York session high. Well, it's really the U.S. session high. All right, I need to change that. Okay, and then right here is the 8 a.m. candle right here, low. This is gonna be our U.S. session low. All right. All right. Okay, so now I got my previous weekly highs and lows, and I got my U.S. Session previous highs and lows. Okay, so when the market opened, price can come back down here and reject that or break it and retest. But we got to figure out what type of trend we're in. Okay, so like like I said, I start off with the weekly. Right now, let's see. This was a lower high and lower low. So right now, this is just market structure. If you're looking at the weekly, so we are in a downtrend, as you can see on the weekly, because price never broke this lower high here. So this is our lower high up here, okay, and this is our lower low, okay. So right now it's just right in the middle here, okay. If we break it down to the daily, let's look at this. We can consider ourselves on the daily. We can say that we are in a uptrend. All right, we are in an uptrend here. So this could, if we're going based off of the daily chart, we could say that this could be that potential higher low. Because if we're in an uptrend, we're creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so we could say this is a potential higher low, but on the weekly we are in a downtrend. So overall, like on the weekly, we're in a downtrend, but on the daily, we are in the uptrend. Let's see on the 4 hour, where let's see, high, low, lower, low, lower, low, lower, high. So on the 4 hour, it's telling us that we are in a downtrend. So we at the weekly in the 4 hour telling us that we should be selling. Okay, the daily is telling us to buy, but overall, you want to go with the higher time frame, So I believe that we could be going back. Now we can go back. Probably going to go back into down to the downside. So we'll see. We'll see. I only whatever price is telling me, that's what I go with. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, you want to look at the higher time frame to know for sure where the market is going. So, 4 hour, I usually mainly look at the 4 hour too when it comes to trading. So we are in a downtrend right now. So what I'm thinking is maybe price has already done that already. Price pulled back up into this previous U.S. session high here, and as you can see, this long wick right here, it rejected that zone there. So we could be going back into a downtrend. What I would like to see is here, come back up in here, and then continue down to the downside. That's what I want to see. Okay, so that's so that's that for that pair. We'll see. Sometimes I usually draw my Fibonacci retracement. Like I said, the daily is telling us that we should be buying, but if we look at the daily, if we look at the weekly and the 4 hour, it's telling us to sell. But price is at a price reversal zone, which is a 78.6 Fibonacci retracement level. So price may not go down. All right, price doesn't have to go down, but what price could do is price could come all the way back up. All right, to the negative 27%. So price could reject this area and to go up to the upside. We'll just wait until price breaks. If price breaks, I'll go back to the 1 hour. Well, I can go back to the 4 hour. Let's see. If price comes up here, let me show you what I'm looking at. If price doesn't go down the way that I wanted to go down, the only way I'll start looking for buys if maybe, I won't be looking for buys really, to be honest with you, because on the 4 hour we are in a downtrend. So price would really have to break this area, break the lower low, lower high. Price would have to break this zone. So in order for me to, based on the higher time frame, price has to come all the way up here okay, and then come back down, and then that's when I would consider a uptrend. Okay, if the price does that based on the 4 hour, then yeah, we could be buying. But we'll see on that. I'll keep you guys updated on that if I do take a trade on that. So we'll see. All right, so let's go to the next pair. We already got our previous weekly highs and lows and our previous U.S. session highs and lows on that one, and we even drew a Fibonacci retracement on a daily. But let's go to the 4 hour and also draw before. Yeah, on the 4 hour we can also draw a Fibonacci retracement tool here. So, so we could draw a Fibonacci retracement here, and then bring it down here. So we could anticipate price to, yeah, price could come down here and reject this area, and then come pull back up into the 61 point. I like to take trades anywhere at the 61.8 or the 78.6 or the 88.6. That's where I like to take trades. Those are this is the premium zone, okay? Down here, like if it's in an uptrend, then we'll be looking for the discount zone. Premium discount zone. So price could reject this previous US session low here, this zone here, and then continue to go up into the 61.8 or the 78.6 or the 88.6. That's where I like to take the trade going into the trend. Okay, but we'll see about that. Let's see if we see any fair value gaps, because I like to look at fair value gaps. Fair value gaps is a 3 candle pattern. Let's see if we can find one here. This is the 4 hour. But I don't see any fair value gaps here, really. Yeah, I don't see. Let's go on the daily. We might see a fair value gap. Okay, so we have a fair value gap here. I'll show you. So it's 3 candles. So 1, 2, 3. When it comes to drawing a fair value gap, the wicks can't overlap. Okay, so make sure the wick doesn't overlap with the first candle. The third candle cannot overlap with the first candle. Okay, so this is a fair value gap right here. So what I want to see, in order for me to get in, look for a sell position on this on this pair, I want price to pull back up into this fair value gap. Okay. This is going to be our fair value gap here. Fair value gap. I usually call it the FVG. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's the fair value gap. So I want price in order for me to continue, to get a good price and get a good risk to reward. In a sell position, I want price to pull back all the way up into this 61.8. All right, it might even gap up into the 78.6. Okay, that's even a better position. And then I wanted to take it down. All right, so that's what I'm really looking for. Okay, that's what I'm looking for when it comes to this odd NZD trade here. That's what I want to see, but price can continue to go up and up and up and break the zone and start going in uptrend. We'll see. We'll be patient, and we'll keep an eye on that. So let's go to the next pair, and then we can just breeze through this real quick. That way we don't have to make this video too long. So we'll go to the weekly, see what type of trend we in. All right. All right, lower high, lower low. Okay, lower low. This created a higher high. So higher low, higher high. So this is just going sideways right now based on the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Let's draw our previous weekly highs and lows. Okay. So right now I can see my previous weekly high, and it's this right here, the wick to the body. That's how I draw my zones. Okay, that's how I draw my zones. Okay. All right. And then what I like to do too is, okay, draw my previous weekly low. This is going to be the low right here. And then we'll just drag it like that. Okay, that's my previous weekly low. Okay. And what I also like to do is I like to drag this zone to see if there's any rejections or resistance or support along this area. And as you can see, as I'm going, price is rejecting. This zone right here is creating support and resistance. Okay, so rejection, rejection, resistance here, support. Now it's creating support here. Okay, so I like to do that sometimes, but let's go to the 1 hour real quick. Go ahead and get our so I'll look for the previous US session high and low. Okay, so this is 8. Remember, I consider US session from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's what I consider US session. All right, so we can go ahead and draw our US session low. Okay. Boom. All right, so that's, let me drag this out a little bit. There we go. And then let me go ahead and color code that. The red means it's going to be my US session low. And then my US session high, of course, is going to be right here. So we have two zones here. We have a previous weekly high, and we also have a previous US session high. Boom. All right, boom. So now we got our zones marked. Let's go to the weekly again. Let's see where we at here, okay? So look like we are creating, yeah, so this is the higher low, higher high. All right, and now look like we are going back into the uptrend here. Daily, definitely in the uptrend here. So we created a higher high, then we created a lower low, and then our high. This created a higher high because it broke this lower high here. So we're in the uptrend right now at the moment. Okay, so we are in the uptrend when it comes to NZD CAD. So now what I want to do is let's go look to the 4 hours. So the 4 hours is definitely bullish right now at the moment. What I want to look for, let's go to the daily. So the daily, what I want to look for is, I want to pull out my Fibonacci retracement tool here. So I want to draw my Fibonacci retracement tool here to here. Okay. And then look like there is a fair value gap right here. It's a big one, but it's a fair value gap. This big space means that price could come anywhere in this area. But ideally, I want price to come to the 61.8. Okay? And even better risk reward and better position, either the 78 or the 88.6. Okay? So this is going to be my fair value gap here. Or just name it blue. We can name it fair value gap. And then we'll just put it there. All right, so now we know that's a fair value gap. So price could, on the 4 hour, could come anywhere in this area here. So in order, what you could do is you can either wait for price to come back into the 61 or the 78 or the 88.6 and then start buying, or you can ride price down to these points. Okay, I sometimes do that. So if you're gonna ride it down, like I said, just ride it down all the way down to the 61.8 or 78.6 or the 88, and then price will start coming up. Okay, now, but you also gotta be in mind that the 21.6, the 38. Price could reject the 23.6 or the 38.2 or even the 50% Fibonacci retracement level. It could reject these areas. So if you're gonna ride it down, just be cautious. Make sure that you're paying attention and managing that trade, because price could come down to the 38.2 and then start going up. Okay, so be mindful of that. But you can try to ride it down to the 61, to the least of the 61.8. Okay. All right. So yeah. So we got that drawn up. Let's look at another chart. USD. This is USD Chef. Let's go to the weekly. And I'm probably gonna do one more pair, because I don't want to make this video too long. But I just wanted to show you guys how I mark up my charts. After this video, I'm gonna finish marking up all of these charts right here. I'm gonna mark up all these pairs. All these pairs I'm gonna mark up. But I'm gonna do one more after this. That way we don't make this video too long. I just wanted to give you a clear idea on how I mark up my charts for the week. So we're on the weekly chart on USD Chef. I can see that we are in a downtrend. Well, we was in a downtrend. So lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Well, created a higher high, but created a lower low, and then boom, this just created a. Let's see if this is higher than this lower high. We kind of created a higher high here. So we created a higher high here, basically. So this is going to be our higher low, and this is going to be our higher high on our weekly. Let's go to the daily and go ahead and mark up our charts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can say this could be our previous weekly high. We can draw that as our previous weekly high. Okay, and then we can see that our low, our previous weekly low, is going to be right here. Okay. Now sometimes when the zone is too big, what I like to do is I like to break it down to the 4 hour and see if I can make that zone a little bit smaller. But it doesn't make sense to make that a smaller because there's no wick. Okay, so we'll just keep it like that. Okay, and then we'll go to the 1 hour. Okay, go to the 1 hour, and then we'll just go ahead and mark our US session low. Okay, I need to drag this up a little bit so I can drag it over a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna look for our high. So as you can see, this doesn't even have a wick here. Let's see if the 30-minute have a wick. 1 hour, 2 hour, yeah. So what I will usually do if I don't see any wick, what I'll do is I'll just get my horizontal tool here, and then I'll do it like that, and then boom, there we go. And then let's go back to the 4 hour and see if we see any fair value gaps. Okay, on the 4 hour, I definitely see a fair value gap right here. So remember, a fair value gap is a 3 candle pattern. All right, the wicks from the first candle and the third candle cannot overlap. Okay, so if we do this, this is a gap. Okay, this is a gap right here. That's our fair value gap. So we'll just name that blue. And then fair value gap. Alright, boom. Now we know that's our fair value gap zone there. Okay. Then I like to draw my Fibonacci retracement tool here. Okay. There we go. And I like to also have this, if this candle right here, the first candle, when it comes to the fair value gap in the 3 candles, the candle that initiate the fair value gap, I usually like to have this as my have this as my demand and supply zone. So this is going to be my demand zone. So if price, this will be a perfect price to get into for a buy. Price comes all the way into this demand zone here, and I'll even make it green. Okay, I'll even make it green. If price comes all the way down here and reject this area, this will be a perfect position to buy. Okay, so what I'm saying is, if price come all the way here, right, that'll be a perfect. You could ride this all week. You could ride this for a week or two. Just keep riding up, riding up, riding up to this point. But price also might just come down into this fair value gap here and then go up. But those are two examples of what price can do. Okay. So yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna show you an example of how you can like ride price all the way up, like based on the higher time frames. Okay. I'll give you an example. So this is another example. This is a setup that I drew 2 weeks ago. All right, 2 weeks ago. I drew this out. None of this wasn't here. None of these was here. When I drew this right here, none of this stuff was here. Price was up here, basically. When I drew my zones and my fair value gaps and demand, price was up here. None of this stuff wasn't there. So you could have rolled. Well, I didn't ride price all the way down. What I did was I waited for price to come into the demand zone right here, right? It rejected the demand zone, and I got in for a buy right here. And I hold it for almost 1 week. I almost hold it for 1 week. And basically, I think I got out like around this area here. I got out right here. So, but if I'd have continued to hold this trade, I could have held this trade for like 2 weeks. I could have caught all this pips. Let's see how many pips that is. Ladies and gentlemen, I could have caught 600 pips. If I'd have hold this trade, I could have caught 600 pips. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna just keep the video short. I don't want to keep this video long, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. But now you know exactly how I draw up my charts, how I draw my zones, and how I use the Fibonacci retracement tool, and then how I look for fair value gaps. If you got value, make sure you like, comment, and share this video. If you got any questions, reach out to me personally. If you guys want to be able to copy my trades, meaning every time I place a trade on my account, those same trades will be copied over to your account, reach out to me. I can get you set up where you can be able to copy my exact trades. Okay, so with that being said, I'm Andre Cat, here from West Palm Beach, Florida. I will see you guys on the internet. Take care, y'all.